Do you think that's general? Do you feel that? I mean, that's the way I feel. I feel that something has to be done.
Yes.
Yeah, and whether it's this bill, somebody will have to pass some kind of legislation dealing with health, because so many people are without health
yes.
care. I mean, without insurance, without whatever, and et cetera. So very good.
And uninsured and underinsured. You have people that do not have sufficient coverage with their insurance as well. So I mean, it's almost complete unanimity that something needs to be done.
Okay,
you
good.
know, the question is what?
Very good. And of course, I think that as an attorney, what are some of your thoughts in reference to these policies?
Yes, I feel that the president should vigorously go after and say whoever it is that is not supporting healthcare reform, like I say, in particular with Democrats. So you've got consistency across the board. You're going to have even Olympia Snowe, the more moderate Republican from Maine. She is not going to support the public option, but she will support healthcare reform in general. So I don't think there's going to be one single Republican vote for healthcare reform.
You think it's going to be, they're going to refuse to become involved to that extent, that they're not going to become involved at all? Is that?
Well, and the thing that's disappointing about that, it's one thing to oppose and to say this is not the best idea, we can do better, but put something on the table. You know, propose something instead of just use the Socratic method and say, well, we won't propose anything ourselves, but we're just going to, you know, point out all of the flaws with what we see, with what you propose. Absolutely. And so in a real sense, real estate and health are two of the most important issues that the president has to face now in reference on the domestic part. And I think you've already indicated that it's a real problem dealing with our foreign policy, and especially in Afghanistan. Yes. And bringing all the troops home. But health, you believe, really are health and the real estate market, you think, can really lead us out of this great recession that we're in. That if things are right in those two areas, then we can possibly weather whatever other problems that we might have in this country. That is unemployment and et cetera. Would that be your assessment of it? Yes, and he will not have an opportunity to focus in on unemployment until the health care bill, you know, and health care reform has been taken off the table. And that is one of the reasons why I'm not sure that it's going to be done in this year. But you made an important point when you mentioned Afghanistan. Right now, since 2001, we have spent roughly $915 billion fighting the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Now, how much is that? You can, as far as Pell Grants, as far as providing health care and additional police officers on the street and so many other services that you could have provided with that amount. You could have taken care of so many different domestic issues with that amount. And foreign policy is extremely important. It is important to make sure that the troops have what they need to be successful. There's no debate about that. But what at some point, now there's a request from one of his generals to send 40,000 additional troops over to Afghanistan. And he's getting a lot of slack for, okay, why hadn't he made a decision? But when you're making a decision whether or not to send men and women in harm's way, it should be deliberate. It should be a decision that is well thought out. We can see what has happened when we've had knee-jerk decisions and the commander that didn't really think things through, you know, and how that's turned out. So I applaud, you know, in whatever decision he makes. My only thing is that he does what he feels is right. And of course, Mr. Reddick, I think we're coming to the end of this show today. I think we've got about 35 seconds before the end of the show, but I think that's exactly what we wanted to deal with, you know, to talk about the housing market in the state of Tennessee. And you believe that things are pretty on the up and up, look pretty good for Middle Tennessee at least.
compared to some of the other areas, but you're also looking for this rebound in reference to, and health, you believe, will be one of the things that might also help get us out of this situation. And of course, let us thank you for bringing by that information. And let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.